From wildfires to floods, it feels like these massive weather-related catastrophes are happening more and more and hitting harder than ever. It's easy to feel a bit helpless, right? But what if I told you there's a proven strategy that doesn't just save lives, but also has a huge financial payoff? Okay, let's get into it and explore why being prepared is probably one of the smartest investments any community can possibly make. All right, first things first, we've got to understand the world we're living in right now. Disasters aren't just these rare, isolated incidents anymore. They're becoming a constant, and honestly, a very expensive feature of modern life. And look, that is not an exaggeration. This quote from the US Chamber of Commerce just lays it out there, plain and simple. We've actually reached a point where a catastrophe that causes over $1 billion in damage isn't a shocking exception. It's the new normal we have to deal with. So, what's the deal? What's driving all this? Well, it's kind of this perfect storm of huge global trends. You've got more people moving into cities, sometimes in really unplanned ways. And at the same time, climate change is making our weather more intense. So we're basically putting more people and more stuff directly in harm's way. And that just skyrockets our vulnerability. That sounds pretty grim, I know. But this is where we shift from the problem to the solution. Because there's a really powerful idea that can turn the tide, and it's all about being proactive. Let's talk about what I'm calling the preparedness principle. So, what exactly is it? Well, disaster preparedness isn't about scrambling to react after everything's gone wrong. No, it's about the smart, strategic moves we make before a disaster even hits. That way, when it does, we're actually ready to respond and respond well. And the goals here are crystal clear and absolutely vital. The whole point is to save lives, first and foremost, obviously. But it's also about protecting our environment, our homes, our jobs. Really, it's about making our communities stronger and better able to bounce back. And this isn't just some nice idea a few people came up with. It's a core part of international policy. It's recognized and agreed upon by countries all over the world in big agreements like the Sendai Framework. This is a massive, coordinated global effort to make our world safer. Okay, now we get to the part that might actually blow your mind. We've talked about the principles, but what about the results? Let's look at the incredible return on investment you get from being prepared. This is the big question, isn't it? I mean, with budgets being tight everywhere, is it really a good use of money to spend it on something that might happen? Well, the data has a very, very clear answer. Let's start right here. A major study decided to look at what happens when you invest just one single dollar in preparing for a disaster. And for that $1, a community saves a staggering $13 down the road. Let me just say that again because it's wild. A $1 investment gives you a $13 return. That is a phenomenal payoff. So how in the world does that $1 turn into 13? Well, 6 of those dollars are from avoiding direct costs, things like having to rebuild homes or clear away tons of debris. But the other $7, that comes from avoiding the wider economic hit, like businesses having to shut down or people losing their jobs. It protects the whole economic foundation of a community. And this is so important because we're not just talking about abstract numbers here. These figures represent real people, real families. This is the difference between a community facing widespread job losses and one where jobs are kept. It's the difference between people being forced from their homes and staying safe. Preparedness protects people, plain and simple. So the idea is solid, and the numbers are pretty powerful, but what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's check out how communities are putting these principles into action. It really boils down to 3 key, practical things. First, you've got to create and constantly improve your response plans. Second, you have to beef up your early warning system so people know when danger's on the way. And third, you upgrade a city's ability to actually respond, from the firefighters to the medical teams. So let's look at Jakarta. You've got this huge coastal city that's super vulnerable to floods. They didn't just go out and buy some new tech. They got everyone on the same page, all the different local authorities and partners to build one integrated flood early warning system. The result? They can get warnings out way earlier, giving people that precious time they need to get ready or get out. Or how about Makati City, the financial heart of the Philippines? They set up this central command center, they call it Makati C3, to pull all their emergency services together. So what happens? When a disaster hits, their response is efficient, it's coordinated, and it's fast, which protects millions of people and a critical economic hub. These big city-wide examples are amazing, but here's the thing. Preparedness isn't just for governments to worry about. It's really a responsibility that all of us share, because the benefits touch every single one of us. This quote just gets right to the heart of it all. The stakes honestly could not be any higher. All the planning, all the investment, it all comes down to this one fundamental difference. And this is what it all boils down to for you. For me, for our families, preparedness saves lives, period. Having a clear evacuation plan is critical. It also reduces that raw fear during a crisis, because just knowing what to do helps lessen the trauma. And finally, it helps whole communities get back on their feet so much faster. Ultimately, we know that more disasters are coming. That's just a fact of our world now. We can't stop the storm from forming. So really, the only question that truly matters is the one right here on your screen. When it comes, will we be ready?